One of your other priorities, just to bring in a few other topics here while we've got you, and I know we've got limited time because you've got to go to another appointment. Thank you for your time this evening, because I know how your schedule is so jammed. But you've talked a lot about expanding the conversation on environmentalism, bringing other people into it, bringing people of color, bringing children into it. And I mentioned earlier that we were going to turn you into not an American Idol judge, but an environmental Idol judge. I'd like you to take a look at the video that was done by 3 of our students here at GW as part of their effort to take a look at how this conversation on environmentalism is being expanded. And then I want you to pass judgment on this piece. Take a look. It's just a couple of minutes.
The prettiest tree. In the hole goes around, and the green grass grows all around, and the green grass grows all around.
I'm Lacey Brown. I'm the education coordinator here at Casey Trees.
So let's listen quietly.
All right, how's everybody doing today? Put your hand up if you ever used a shovel. Awesome, awesome.
It's easier to build a habit than it is to change a bad habit. And I think that's the real critical piece in this in terms of getting to children when they're young and saying that's the way it needs to be, that's the way it should be.
It's a lot of work.
The way kids learn how to do things is by doing them, is by interacting with them. And so they may consider planning things as a play activity from their perspective.
What has been your favorite part about planting the tree so far?
Digging the dirt.
Digging the dirt? Yeah, is it fun to dig in the dirt?
At a young age, kids love exploring, and so it's a perfect time to get them involved now.
Trees are important because they give you energy like apples or bananas or grapes or blueberries.
The fact of the matter is that science is more fun when you do experiments.
Can any of you tell me what a carbon footprint is?
I think it's a question of explaining the constructs in ways that little kids can understand them.
Building smoke, but this smoke comes out of what thing? It comes out of the car, it comes out of what else?
Trains.
Trains and
Buses. And all vehicles, really.
And so I'm not sure that we talk about global warming in the same sense or define it in the same way, but kids become exposed to those notions that if the world got too hot, we wouldn't be able to live here.
There was a little girl and she was having a great time digging this hole. She was very dramatic and you know, she's got a shovel and she's like, I'm digging for my life. She was being funny and being dramatic, but she really, in a way, you know, kind of got at the heart of it.
Oh, okay, are you going to be Simon Cowell?
Is this where I call them dogs?
You get
Sorry, dog. It's a little pitchy. Yeah. That's all I know of American Idol. Listen, I think it's wonderful. First off, there's not a person who doesn't respond emotionally to the sight of adorable children doing cute things and digging in dirt. And I think what you get there is to remember that at the end of the day, all this public policy that we all spend so much time and we get so wonky about, environmentalism boils down to a feeling of stewardship, a feeling of obligation, a feeling that we owe the next generation something. So I think you did a wonderful job of sort of crystallizing very quickly that feeling. I was with, not long ago, James Cameron, and I said, you know, what your movie did on top of all the other cool technical stuff and sort of changed movie making forever, that was just me, was it reminded us that environmentalism, how'd you feel when that tree came down? You know, if you haven't seen it, the tree comes down.
You ruined it for me.
Sorry, spoiler alert. But you know, that's important. I think for us, is there another video to watch? No?
Oh, I can arrange that if you'd like. I know you're short on time.
The only thing I would ask us to all think about is that when you expand the conversation, It's not necessarily true with you know, kindergartners. It's a two-way street. What we have to learn to do is listen to people, let's say in an urban environment. That's the one I grew up in. And the call for me to the environmental movement was less about trees and more about pollution and coming to understand what that was doing to my community. So I think the call for all of us as environmentalists will be to listen as much as we speak, so that when we educate, when people see and take our words and morph them, you know, and say, okay, well, that's really nice, the whole tree thing, but maybe let's talk about what that tree does for me from a heat island perspective, but let's also talk about asthma and how often trees have been shown to be a nice barricade between cars and roadways, which so often go through.